What's up, everybody? It's Heat Override, and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. And Dr. Roto, wow, that was a crazy, crazy weekend again. And man, I'm ready to bring the pain. Oh, yeah, man. I just need to stop following my heart. Stop picking these teams that suck sometimes. Anyway, we all know. Let's go over the games for the weekend and the ones that I picked. So, of course, I picked Houston over Baltimore, San Francisco over Green Bay, Detroit over Tampa Bay, and Buffalo over Kansas City. Instead, what we got was Baltimore, San Francisco, Detroit winning, and Kansas City yet punking the Bills again. Now, I don't really mean to talk bad about the Bills, but I got to say, there was a lot in this game that really was questionable. I know that sometimes you got to take chances. Scared money don't make no money. Oh, yeah. But at the same time, you got to be safe. You got to be able to do things. Of course, they missed a field goal. So we'll get to that game last. Let's go right through it, right? So Houston, Buffalo, or Houston, Baltimore. I picked Houston because I thought Houston could kind of hang with that, but Baltimore took CJ Stroud apart. He didn't even have a touchdown. I'm like, you can't even throw a touchdown. That was actually like the emo of the NFL all year, though. It was just really weird. Like, I remember growing up and quarterbacks going 2, 3 touchdowns, stuff like that. Maybe 1 touchdown. That'd be like some game manager back then. But, like Bubby Brister. But nowadays, they should be passing the ball. Like, there was that era with, like, Peyton Manning and Kurt Warner and even up to Mark Bulger. I'm a Rams fan. We know I'm going to talk about them. And they were getting passes. They were getting touchdowns. Man, when your quarterback doesn't throw a touchdown, what is wrong with your team? What has been wrong with the NFL? But hey, maybe they're just playing it more conservative. Defenses are catching up. Offenses have to do some things. So Baltimore just played them out. Houston did play well. They played great for a half of a game. They came out. That was the problem. They missed a couple opportunities right before the half that really could have put them up and helped them change that game a little bit. Instead, they just got smashed out in the second half. And hey, that happens for young teams. And I picked them because it's one that was the one upset that I thought was might happen. That's an upset. Picking Kansas City to beat Buffalo, that's not really an upset because really Buffalo's the underdog, even though they were at home. And the reason why you go, oh, well, Buffalo's this and Buffalo's that, and they had the hope. No, you are always an underdog when you're playing Patrick Mahomes. Get that right. Yeah. So, well, but Houston, they looked good. They just needed more people out there. And that's what happens in the NFL. Injuries pile up. I really think Tank Dell could have really helped, but they just focused in on Nico Collins. I mean, Collins, Schultz, Singletary, they all got good work. It just wasn't enough to beat that team. Baltimore's strong. And I said this last week that team, that defense, I've been honing that defense for over a year, going back to last season. That's how I knew Baltimore was going to be good this year. Yep. Like I said Baltimore, San Francisco in the Super Bowl after I did my IDP defensive rankings this year in the summer. So, yeah, that's what's looking like it's going to be. So we'll move along to Green Bay and San Francisco. Okay, San Francisco did win this game, but there were some calls that San Francisco had go their way that should not. Okay, so first, the hit out of bounds. That was a late hit out of bounds. And San Francisco could not stop Aaron Jones. Exactly what I said was going to happen, happened. But what I didn't see was the refs missing face masks penalties. They missed 2 face mask penalties and that late hit out of bounds. Now, why that would change the game? That would have changed the game in a 3-point game. They were driving, and the refs wouldn't give them any kind of love. They wouldn't give them any flags. It was like the Ram game last week when Stafford got destroyed, and then, oh, here comes Carson Wentz, and then, no, it's just Stafford again. And then Higbee goes out with an ACL injury, now that we know that, and that was a defenseless receiver, and the Rams should have beat Detroit. But that didn't happen. Could have had a chance at missing a field goal like Buffalo. Oh, yeah, you guys, man. You guys cracking up on yourselves, right? So It was a good game, though. It was a good game. Green Bay played it exactly the way they should. Now, San Francisco does need to be worried. Debo's banged up right now. And if San Francisco goes into this game without Debo, mind you, this is being recorded on Tuesday. If San Francisco goes into that game without Debo, it really changes a lot of things. I mean, Detroit already proved that they can cover. They had to cover, right? Well, we'll get to that game in a second. But going back to San Francisco and Detroit, what San Francisco did do was shove McCaffrey down their throats. Exactly what I said was going to happen. I mean, everybody goes, well, you can say it, but everybody knows that Christian McCaffrey's getting the ball, right? But a lot of people were talking about Elijah Mitchell, right? I didn't. Why didn't I talk about Elijah Mitchell? Because I'm not stupid. I knew that dude wasn't getting the ball at all, right? So that's why I say that sometimes you could take what I say or any other expert, what they say, with a grain of salt. But sometimes what we say does make sense. And you could shove that up your numbers self because guess what? Numbers don't tell the game stories. I've been trying to say, yes, numbers work better for baseball. We'll get to that too. And yeah, you get to set up, lefties versus righties. Well, you don't really get that in the NFL. You get quarterback versus wide receiver matchups, right? Well, those can be exploited, and they were. So, San Francisco's going to need Debo. They have plays for Debo. They do not run with Jennings. They do not run with anybody else on the team. James, they don't run that with him. None of it is Debo's runs. Yes, Debo's fades. Those are Debo's slants. Debo is great, and he makes that offense really good. They're going to need him. After he was just on Twitter talking at dudes, right? At CJ Gardner Johnson, right? So he's going to play him. He wants to play him. So I think we'll see Debo in this game, unless he really is just banged up. But that dude came out that game like 3 times. I thought that dude was done. But he's a strong dude. He's this close to the Super Bowl. He don't want to get hurt, right? So move along. Tampa Bay at Detroit. Oh, man, right? So exactly what I said. What Puka did to Detroit is exactly what Mike Evans did to Detroit. Now, I had him on the lower end. He was lower owned this week for DFS, just like I said. That's why he was a target. And that's another thing. But Baker did really well. The running game could the running game was just stopped. It just was like, okay, let's try to run. And it wasn't like he was getting good plays, White, but at the same time, it was more of a passing game. They just wanted to keep up and play good D. But dang, Tampa's D was locking Detroit. Now, that's one thing I did say last week. I said that this was more of a Gibbs game and not a Monty game because Monty is just a plotter, right? But he's a better plotter than A.J. Dillon. Don't get it twisted. Yeah. So when, the Gibbs, remember when I said last week that Gibbs was going to have a set of plays for him? What did you see on those final drives at the end of that game? You saw Gibbs doing exactly what I said he was going to do, which is run the plays with Gibbs that are going to get open. He was the X factor. But Detroit, they are literally saving the rest of his plays for probably this game in the Super Bowl because they're going to need them if they want to win a Super Bowl with this Detroit team and finally get Jared Goff a Super Bowl ring. Like he can win it. They can beat San Francisco. Don't get that twisted. They can beat the Ravens. Don't get it twisted. They can beat Kansas City. Really the Kansas City Chiefs are technically kind of have the best play-for-play defense left in the league. So if that's gonna happen, then if Detroit and Kansas City match up, that's gonna be matchup heaven. But we'll get there. Let's see. Let's just calm down. We all know that the Ravens and the 49ers are really not trying to lose these games. All right, let's move along to Kansas City at Buffalo. All right. I had nothing wrong with this game, but what I did see in this game was I saw the force of DeMar Hamlin, and I'm happy he's back on the field But you don't run a fake punt from that far on your side of the field with him. You don't do it with anybody. You just go for it. Why wouldn't you just go for it? Right? But you ran him out there to try to make him the hero. And guess what? You look like a chump now, dude. And you thought not Hamlin, of course, the Buffalo Bills coaching staff. I mean, I'm surprised. Like, I know people are calling for dude's name, but whatever. I ain't worried about that right now. So let's get back to it. Buffalo, when I saw that game going down and I saw score, and then you saw Kansas City score, right? Because Kansas City ate it up. They did it. Now this is what's really gonna happen. Well, I'll get to my game theory on these real soon, Kansas City and Baltimore. But so you saw the way it was running. You saw that Buffalo and they were scoring. So Buffalo, McDermott were like, let's slow it down. Worst decision. I was like, Buffalo is losing this game now. I went on the Twitter sphere, the X sphere, whatever you want to call it, and Facebook, and I said Buffalo's going to lose this game. Now, because exactly what I said happened. They decided to drain the entire clock. And I was like, okay, I get it. You're going to drain the clock and you're going to score a touchdown to win the game, right? And I'm like, but don't be trying to kick a field goal because it was a little windy up there. Don't be trying to kick a field goal to try to tie the game to go to overtime. Because why would you want to do that? We all know what happened last time. You guys lost and you lose. And you showed up in the regular season, but you didn't show up this time. And the difference is, of course, Buffalo was just decimated on defense. That defense wasn't going to stop that offense. And Kansas City kind of just played it around. But this game, there wasn't really much to take from it other than the great plays and Travis Kelce's brother. Jason Kelce just up there, shirt off. Man, there's stories that he was out tailgating and just going crazy with the Buffalo fans. So that's a cool dude. But Buffalo made the wrong decision to do this. They also made the wrong decision to punt when they punted and tried to go for it. And they should just punt, but they didn't. And this is why Buffalo loses. It wasn't even about the wide right. They shouldn't have been in that position. And the part that really made me mad, which would have really been good for my very contrarian lineup, was when he missed Shakir for almost the second touchdown in the game to win the game, the back of the end zone. Look, I know that Diggs dropped like a 60-yard bomb. That was a hard pass to catch. Like he jumped a little early in my book. He probably could have just ran under it, but at the same time, that just wasn't really going to work out for them. So that is why Buffalo lost. They lost to the better team. They kept it close. They thought they were going to get up, and they didn't. The defense couldn't stop Kansas City's offense once they turned it on, and then the Buffalo Bills billed. Okay? Good stuff. All right. Now, before we get into this week's games, let's get over to the Dr. Roto website. Make sure you're on our website. Make sure you're at our Discord. We got football contests going on in the Discord right now. Why be part of that? That's just extra money that you could win. You're going against some of the pros. You're going against me, going against Danger. You're going against Jeremy. You're going against our staff. Why not have fun and do it? It's not all about just donating your money. Danger just ran a whole free PGA week or something. He's got something going on with that. I was like, I don't even do PGA. That's not me. So don't ever ask me to override for golf advice. I'm not doing that. And I ain't doing NASCAR. Believe that. Oh, no. Yeah. So, but that is why I talk up the Discord constantly. And Danger and me talk about it all the time. We always talk about how fun it is in there, developing relationships with our subscribers. All of them have all their own personalities. They love it, and all of them are great. That's why we love y'all. Thank you, subs. That's why we do this, right? All right, let's get to Kansas City at Buffalo, or Kansas City, Baltimore. Sorry, that's swallowed there. It happens. Whatever, man. 2 days of karate, right? So, Kansas City, as I was alluding to earlier, Buffalo comes in with a straight run defense that is going to be able to stop Pacheco. Now, Pacheco has been running angry. So he's going to be running his angry head into a lot of Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. It might not work out well for him all the time, but look, Kansas City is not scared. And, CEH came in and provided a nice spark that was really nice to see at, when he would come in and fill in for Pacheco. So right now Kansas City is going to have to run the ball like that so that they can open up Travis Kelce. Because look, if you didn't notice something that Houston did do, Schultz was getting out. And that's because Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen aren't the best cover linebackers. And I will say that on Bring the Pain. Oh, yeah, I'm an IDP god, man. I'm telling you, they're not going to be able to cover Travis Kelce. They're going to have to put a safety on him. And that's really going to suck because, Hamilton can hold him, but they got real banged up last game. So now you're going to have a banged up secondary, but a strong run defense. And if that gets Baltimore beat, that could get Baltimore beat. But right now, I'm putting it on this. I've been calling Kansas City's defense this entire NFL playoffs. And that means that if they keep playing at that level, Baltimore's going to have to show up with more than some AFC North game. They're going to have to show up and they're going to have to play a lights out game, a game that they want to go to the Super Bowl. Now, Lamar keeps saying, I want it. I'm doing it. This is my year. I got to win now. Yet, you know why he has to win now? Because that team ain't going to have many people next year, right? So with free agencies and, things going on with them, they're going to need to step that up, right? So I love that Zay Flowers, worked out well for him. He really does draw a lot of coverage. But, man, if Mark Andrews comes back, Kansas City will have that to worry about. So it's being Tuesday. That's a big, big deal. We're going to have to watch for that. Now, let's move along. Of course, at the end of the week, when I do my Bring the Pain, I will be able to focus on these games a little more, and we will have more information. So I will reiterate a little bit of this and that. I wanted to get this out as soon as possible so that you have a little bit of head game going into this. So if you see some bets you want to take those bets, man, and check it out. And get to the Discord and ask us because we'll help you with that too. It's what we do, right? I give out free lineups every single week that have banged every single week. Boom, right? But they only score if you play them and if you know them. And if you don't get to the Discord, you don't get that. Like, you get more bets, you get more lineups, you get more everything in the Discord. So you get this is your preview. All right, Detroit, San Francisco. San Francisco's defense ain't no joke. They're going to straight smash on Detroit. Gibbs is going to be the key along with Amon-Ra St. Brown. Okay, so they're going to have to work it exactly the way that they worked Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay is kind of set up in similar ways with San Francisco. You have some really good linebackers that are aging, and you have a great line like Vita Vea. It's hard to run on that Tampa Bay, right? You could do it, but that's hard. Then you get the secondary is kind of, regular, and you can exploit that. Now, Detroit don't have that to worry about. San Francisco's defense can be exploited. And, they're not going to be putting Lenore on St. Brown. That's not going to happen. So they're going to have to play really good to stop those receivers. And again, it's not just about St. Brown. Josh Reynolds, love him with my ex-Ram. Josh Reynolds has really stepped it up in these playoffs. He was like a dark horse. If you did a playoff draft league, he was going to be your dark horse because he is providing. He's getting touchdowns. He's getting catches, and you got him late. So in a best ball format, you have him. You got him. And he's going to bump out probably your second receiver if they just go down. So that's really what's going on right now. And so I picked San Francisco and Baltimore to both win these games. That's what I said. I'm going to have to stick to it. But in my heart, I wouldn't mind seeing a Kansas City Detroit Super Bowl. That's most likely not going to happen. But at the same time, if Detroit can get to the Super Bowl and at least try to win it, maybe win it, I think that would just be good for the NFL. There's a lot of Lions fans, especially my uncle. My Uncle Carl has been the biggest Lions fan every year, and he's had to watch all these other teams always lose, and win it. And he's just losing. He's got a chance to win a championship right now. I know he's excited. He actually just called me when I was at karate because we've just been calling each other, talking the game theory and stuff like that. So much fun. Let's move along. So, if you haven't been to Dr. Roto yet, get ready to get there. Our MLB content for the draft is about to drop. Lou has been working hard. Trevor has been in it, but Lou has been in a dungeon. Like Lou was like, "Hey, football is fun, right?" And then all of a sudden we had to say, "Hey, Lou, we gotta take you." Especially after the winter meetings happened, we had to take Lou and we had to put him in a cellar. We had to lock him away like Eminem did Dre until say, "Hey, till you come out with a good song, good beats, and a good art, you'll come out." And guess what? He called us from down in the cave and he goes, "Hey guys, I got something. So you have to get to Dr. Roto for the MLB content." Last year we smashed it. The content, the DFS content was all good. I mean, woo! Our guys won championships. I lost the championship, right? But that happens. And then I did a dynasty league, and I missed the playoffs by just that much. All my pitchers were injured, so I really didn't have anything to go off of my dynasty league. Because in the dynasty league, you have what you have. You can't really always go to the waiver wire and pick stuff up. So that being said, I want to say you definitely want to check out the Ultra Contrarian show. Last week, my Ultra Contrarian lineup on FanDuel was 6 points away from first place. I gave that away to all of you for free. There's, again, not many experts that are giving away those lineups for free, right? Because they don't want to put their name to it. I'll put my name to it. I'll put Heat Override on any lineup that I say. If it sucks, it sucks. Just like 2 weeks ago, my FanDuel lineup was laughable. The worst lineup I gave out all year long. And guess what? That made me mad, right? So what did you get? You got a FanDuel lineup of over 170, FanDuel lineup of over 145 points, and then you got a DraftKings lineup of over 172 points. I can't make it any more free for you, but if you don't like free money, then that's why you're not at Dr. Roto. But if you are at Dr. Roto, if you're curious as to see what Dr. Roto is like, if you need the prescription, if you need to visit the office, we're open. Have a great day, everybody. And as always, may the points be with you. Ooh, yeah. Woo!